Like opening your 5th pack of the new Pokemon Trading Card Pocket game and getting your 4th Wigglytuff, so are the games of our lives. Today's Nintendo Direct felt a lot like that. And these are the games of our lives.
Super Mario and Pokemon and all the games that took us to another place and made us want to keep playing all night. These are the games of our lives.
Welcome everybody to the Games of Our Lives podcast. My name is Bill, and joining me today is the wonderful, fantastic, and beautiful Tony. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. We are back from Japan finally, believe it or not. We said
Like
back
5
in
months ago.
we said back in August we were going. Guess what? We're not talking about Japan today. We are gonna have a separate special episode just for that. Today we're talking about what game, Tony?
Yakuza Kiwami.
And something else?
The Nintendo Direct.
The best thing to happen all day. But before we dive into any of that, we got to talk about the news, okay?
All right. It's been a long time, so you're gonna have to coast me through a whole episode.
Guess what? The news today is gonna be the Nintendo Direct.
Okay, good. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So we're just gonna run through the Direct. Give me just like your quick, like 5 to 10 second take on each game as I read them out. And this is gonna go in chronological order. These are Tony's opinions, strictly his. And this is just gonna be facts about each one. And they opened with Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remake.
Looks fun. Actually, Dragon Quest is 5-10 seconds. Pass. Just kidding. I've been playing Super Mario RPG Remake for the Switch for the second time in my life.
So
First
good.
time feeling like I'm going to complete it. Amazing. Didn't realize how good Square Enix is in the fact that they make those games. They gotta be amazing. So ahead of their time. So good. So actually, Dragon Quest is pretty good. Also, everything I say applies to Bill too. He agrees with me wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly. Just to add on, I played Dragon Quest 3 2D HD Remake, and it was a lot of fun, so I imagine 1 and 2 will also be fun. Next up, we got No Sleep for Kaname Date. I don't even remember this one.
Yeah, I don't.
Sounds good.
No good.
Next up, we got Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army.
No good.
Alrighty. I genuinely, I don't even know what it's from. Next up is Shadown Labyrinth, the PacMan Metroidvania game.
Oh. It's still
Ow!
still no good.
For me,
Literally what?
For me, it's a thumbs up, but it's weird, and I want to see more.
Just, I don't know. Pac-Man is, they've tried with Pac-Man World and other things and such, but to be like a badass Pac-Man, it's like, what's his name? Puck. It's just like, what are you talking about?
Wait, you
dude?
forgot the long drag of a cigarette before it says, they call me Puck. And he's like, Pac-Man? Haven't heard that name in years.
Been a long time since someone told me that. Hey, mister, don't litter that. Shut up, kid. Yeah. Maybe it's good. Maybe it has potential, but it's just kind of dumb at the same time.
It's definitely one of those, like, could be really bad, but, like, you never know.
Maybe. Better than the other stuff so far,
for sure.
Besides Dragon Quest. That's Dragon Quest, I'm just going to say so far, is the best. If some game knocks that off, then maybe, but...
That's fair. Next up, we got Patapon 1 and 2 Replay.
That looked so bad.
Yeah, I like rhythm games on balance, but just doesn't.
Dude, why have one button do an input when you could have 4 buttons do 1 input.
Well, hold on. We're getting ahead of ourselves because I think there's another game that does exactly that coming up in 2 titles. Next up, we got Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Story of Seasons, of course, is Harvest Moon, but like, I don't know. They can't call it Harvest Moon anymore.
They can't.
They
actually can't.
Yeah, I think this is like the original team behind Harvest Moon, but like the original team like doesn't own the IP of Harvest Moon, so they can't use it. So now it kind of like how like Yooka-Laylee is, it's a whole boatload of rare people, but they can't call it Banjo-Kazooie 3.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know that, but it definitely fits the bill for what that game is. And yeah, they know how to make those games, right? Probably good if you're into the sim kind of farm life sim game. Probably good game.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks cute. Next up, we've got another farming simulator, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Miss me with that, man. Every direct is just like somehow a new Metroid every time I tune in, and then I just hear they're all bad. And this, I don't know. Just stop.
Wait, hold on. Metroid Dread was rad. It was not bad.
It was good.
It was great,
I'm not gonna play them. That's not my kind of game.
I did when I saw the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. This is the first time we're seeing gameplay. All I said was, "This looks like Halo 3," and like Halo 3 is great, but like I have to be truthful and honest, I've never played a Metroid Prime game. That's like a big gap in my gaming resume, but like I'm not a big FPS guy either, so I think that's kind of like a big barrier to entry for me.
Could see that. Played the first one when it came out. Just not heard amazing things about it, but we're talking Metroid Primes 1 and 2 for the GameCube, 3 for the Wii, and that is 2008 that game came out, I think. So 17 years later, we finally have a new addition to the series that is Metroid Prime 4.
I think it's the biggest red flag because it's been in like development now for probably 15 of those 17 years. And I feel like when a game or movie or like any sort of like big project has been in the works for that long, it never ends up being what you hope it was.
It has to just be Grand Theft Auto, otherwise it's going to be a flop.
Right. You know what's not going to be a flop? This next game. Disney Villains Cursed Cafe.
Kill me. Let's take... Disney is dog shit. Okay.
Yep.
And let's just make another cafe game. We have a Pokemon cafe game. Let's just milk an IP and let's just reskin it with Disney villains. And if you're a fan of Disney or Disney villains, that's great. I hope you enjoy it. But I don't want that ever near me. Keep that very, very far away from me.
Next game on the list. These are all, by the way, 100% accurate and correct evaluations of these trailers. Tony, you're doing great so far.
Appreciate that.
Next up, a game that weirdly seems interesting to me. Witchbrook. Witchbrook is that like 2D isometric, almost like has like Stardew Valley, but like meets Hogwarts vibe to it, and you can play with a couple of friends at the same time. There's a lot going on, so it seemed interesting to me. What are your thoughts?
It seems like they put a lot of heart into it, and I think that's another one where if you like games like that, it's probably well done. You'll probably enjoy it. Not my kind of game at all, so all I'm good for at this point is just talking a lot
just one of these
about it.
just old thumbs down, baby.
That's all, baby.
You say that,
but yeah.
But the next game on the list, I think, is going to be a thumbs up from you.
You'd be surprised, man. I'm hating today.
The Eternal Life of Goldman. What is the Eternal Life of Goldman all about, Tone?
Oh, I lost my shekels and I can't find my glasses and I'm looking for these shekels and I hopefully I find them because I need all of them. Is basically the the vibe I got.
Yeah,
and nothing else.
I mean, listen, it is a DuckTales 2D platformer game. Featuring just an old man with glasses named Goldman. So, who knows? I'm keeping my eyes out for this one though. I might play it. I'm a big DuckTales guy, so if you can
you sing me the theme song right now?
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, something, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery. Oh, rewrite history. DuckTales. Woohoo.
That was single-handedly better than every Nintendo Direct ever released.
Oh, so 2 thumbs down.
No, I don't know. I don't know. All right, here's the thing. This is Undertale. I said this before. This is gonna take 20 minutes to get through. I like music a lot. I listen to a lot of mainstream music in a lot of K-pop these days, mostly. That's pretty much all I listen to. In older stuff. I can't even talk, dude. Why do you put me on this show? With music, I feel like there's so much music out there and so much I'm not listening to that I get this feeling of, man, I'm missing out. There's so much heart and passion and beauty out there that I'm just not missing because I stick to like the very small amount of music that I am interested in. And I want to explore more, and that's the music world. And then I translate that to the game world, and I see all the stuff that's out there that I could explore, and I go, not missing much. Happy I stick to what I know. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Mario Kart, Mario games. What else we got? Bomberman. We got Switch stuff. I mean, we know my games are right. Mario Party and golfing and sports games, and it's and Halo. And
listen, you like what you like. And you're entitled to that.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm missing out on a lot of this stuff. So maybe that game is fantastic. Maybe old Goldman is a Goldum of his own.
Maybe he's a gold man. Maybe he ends up being a gold man.
You're a college. You definitely went to college, man. You're a college man for sure. That's crazy.
Listen, I'm just a sucker for 2D platformers, and I'm also a sucker for Metroidvania, like the 2D style versions. So it feels like it's right up my alley. Now this game, I know you and I are both gonna play so much. It's called Gradius Origins.
I actually got kind of hype when they showed that.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna play it, but I got a little hype because I'm a fan of you know how much I love Salamander. I mean, that goes without saying. I've never played any of them. I didn't even know it existed until they said that. But I think the old school shmups are so cool, and I'm happy that they're still trying.
Yeah, and still getting like new content in games, which is fun.
Even though it's a remake, but they're introducing Salamander 3. So I don't know. I don't know.
Thumbs down. Next up, we've got Rift of the Necrodancer. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Necrodancer games historically have been pretty like fun. My eyes went like cross-eyed watching this trailer.
Two things. One, you've heard of these games before today?
Yes.
That's amazing. I never have. And big agree, secondly, because I was watching it and I was like, okay, Guitar Hero, but you're fighting, sure. But then, like, as the screen's approaching you, the enemies are just, like, jumping forward. I'm like, I'm not trying to mess with that, man. That's too much. Too much.
Yeah, it's Guitar Hero plus dungeon battling at the same time, and I'm like, hold on. I'm too old to focus on two things at once. Thumbs down.
Big thumbs down. Now, I was watching like rhythm game competitions in Japan, and those people make me feel like a little baby.
Those
in terms
people are
of, like,
built so different.
You think you put a lot of inputs playing Melee? You watch these guys play, they're just like tapping like 100 things in milliseconds with like frame perfect input. It's just like, I am nothing. My whole career is nothing. That's a lie.
Yeah, no. It's the. You're right though. It's like using your whole body as a controller and pressing 14,000 things at once. It just feels impossible. But then you're like, oh, Japan has like some of the most sophisticated like transport in the world, and like all of their like customer service is the best in the world. Like they're perfect at like multitasking and doing stuff. Meanwhile, here in America, you ask for like a McDonald's cheeseburger, a French fry, and a soda, and you're lucky that the soda doesn't come pre-spilled. Alrighty. Like that's society is where we are.
We are not what everyone in this country says we are. We are very behind.
We are a sideways McDonald's Coke type society here.
Sometimes with spit inside.
If you're lucky. Speaking of lucky, we got Tamagotchi fans getting lucky with a new Tamagotchi, which they kept pronouncing it Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi. Oh yeah,
They were like
Tamagotchi,
and it like hit my brain in a weird way. It's like, why do you say it like that? Meanwhile, I'm like, I've been probably just saying it wrong, calling it Tamagotchi. But we got Tamagotchi or Tamagotchi Plaza, which is just a worse version of Animal Crossing and or Hello Kitty Island Adventure ?
Probably. Thumbs down.
Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this direct. We've got, and I think we're going to have differing opinions on this specific thing. Pokemon Legends ZA. We had a little trailer that revealed that there will be a whole segment of the game that is dedicated to fighting trainers, which was kind of like not a mechanic that you saw very often in Pokemon Legends Arceus. But Pokemon Legends ZA is going to feature a lot more trainer battling. Tony, what are your thoughts on Legends ZA based on this trailer?
I actually, sadly, don't have a lot of good expectations for it. I as surprising as that really is.
Did you like Legends Arceus?
Before the game came out, I was hating on it, thinking that it wouldn't be great.
We had a whole thing about that, if I remember correctly. We were like, is this the death of Pokemon?
I was very worried about it, and then I played it, and I was like, this is the savior of Pokemon. That is the best Pokemon game I've played in many, 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 many years.
Hard agree.
And 10 out of 10 for Pokemon fans. Took it to another level where they made it a little more adult themed. They just made it unlike any other Pokemon game, and talk about it for hours, and we have. I'm pretty sure we did a whole episode on it.
We may have done a whole episode on Legends Arceus.
Yeah, that open world concept and the sneaking and the catching without battling, everything, unbelievable game. Then Scarlet and Violet come out, and they're
fine. They're fun.
They're good. They're okay. They're not great. They're definitely like not
It
as
felt like
good.
halfway between like what we've seen traditionally for Pokemon and Legends Arceus. Like,
Yeah.
but like kind of like didn't do it better at either one of them. Was just kind of like a middle of the road type. I I wish it was a little more interactive like Legends Arceus, and I think they have that power within them to do it. But you're right. It was a fine game. It was just a solid entry of Pokemon.
Yeah, we were just playing Pokemon. It was okay, exactly as you described it. Just a little like both, but not as good as either. And I think I don't know, something about ZA just it catches me in like a lackluster light where now we're returning back to the wild area idea, which seemed like a weird like the Wii U was what the Switch was supposed to be, but they just rushed it out,
Right.
and then like Sword and Shield had the wild area where it's like this is what Arceus is supposed to be. It's like rushed, but now they're like taking a step back because they're confining themselves to like one area of a map, which is Lumio City. So they need to like make Pokemon more accessible. But I don't know. I think the only like real thing that they're like putting into the game like that's new is moving around while battling, like dodging attacks and stuff. And that's just not like a deal closer for me. I feel like the game looks like the graphics don't look good. I'm just completely over Nintendo being like in Pokemon being like the highest selling franchise of all time, but just like I'm just
refusing to
like,
hire an extra 3 people to make it look good.
Yeah, just like the way they cut corners and the just even with the card stuff, like how they don't print enough. It's just like I don't understand how they could be so magical and so good, but they just like keep
falling
doing
short
things.
in so many ways.
Yeah, I'm just like tired of saying it too. It just makes me want to be like, all right, I'm good. Like I'm just, Pokemon Go is fun. That's good. That's like literally like Niantic.
And like
it's like
Niantic doesn't even own that anymore.
No, they sold it, and like they made a game that they don't even give a shit about either. They just like update it once in a while and put new stuff, but it's all a money grab, and it's like, it's just sad. It's just sad like all the way through. And I think Pokemon has taken a lot of steps backwards. And I hope I'm wrong about this game. I hope it's really good, but having more trainers to fight, it's just during the day you're catching Pokemon, at night you're fighting. It's just like just give me something new. Like you're putting Mega Evolution in, like that came out in like Gen 6. Like we're talking about going on Gen 10, like I understand like Gigantamax was like not a good idea, like terrestrializing I thought was a good idea, but I don't know, I just feel like I don't know, I feel like they just didn't have a lot of like really good ideas to ingratiate in this game to I don't know, I don't even know if ingratiate's the right word, but like to integrate or put in this game. But what do you think about it?
So we have very little information, despite like having a handful of trailers. We have very little information on how this game is going to play. I think my biggest concern going into Pokemon Legends Arceus were a lot of things, but like the thing that they didn't do a good job of showcasing, in my opinion, was just like your minute-to-minute gameplay. And that is where Pokemon Legends Arceus just knocks it out of the park. I think the minute-to-minute gameplay of Legends Arceus is about as incredible as you can get in a Pokemon game. Like, that gameplay feedback loop that exists in that game is incredible. I don't know what the gameplay feedback loop is going to be like in this game yet. We don't know how large the open areas are going to be. We don't know what like the different traversal type abilities are going to be and what will be accessible, what won't be accessible. They've shown a lot of like jumping on top of roofs, which like I really hope that they're not like, this is such a crazy cool new idea. Have you ever seen someone jump on a roof before? I guess that remains to be seen, but I'm cautiously optimistic. given that Pokemon Legends Arceus was my favorite Pokemon experience in probably 10 to 15 years, like, I genuinely believe I think I had the most fun with a Pokemon game since maybe Gen 3 playing Pokemon Legends Arceus. And I am willing to cast, I'm willing to, like, be optimistic going into this. And you just have to assume that, this is coming out probably after the Switch 2 launches. We don't know when the Switch 2 is going to launch, but we know it's going to be 2025. And while this is a Switch 1 title, you have to imagine that Switch 1 games on a Switch 2 are going to run better. So I think I am excited. I want to see more. I want to see what the minute-to-minute gameplay is going to look like. I do like that there are more trainer battles. And I do want to see what more of the, like, just battling is like. Just because it seems so different from even Pokemon Legends Arceus that, I'm not sure what to really expect yet.
I think that's beautifully said. Yeah, I think the minute-to-minute point that you make about Arceus is very, very spot on. And I think I'm also cautiously optimistic about what the game could be. I don't want to rule anything out, and I think how good Arceus was makes me think that this could be amazing as well. But I also just can't take another Pokemon heartbreak if this ends up not being good. And I think the inclusion of dodging and attacks, something about that just doesn't feel very much like Pokemon to me. But maybe it needed to come out now after all these years to make it Pokemon, to make it something new that we can enjoy. So it could be amazing. It could be me just looking at it at face value and going like, that's not that cool. What else you got? Nothing. Okay, this game's not going to be good, but it could be amazing. And I'm not sure what to expect. The Switch 2, I don't even want to get into my feelings about all that.
Gotta hold that until next week's Direct.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of a joke. I'll just say that, the hater vibe. I mean, were you guys surprised? But yeah, so as of right now, I'm still going to say Dragon Quest is the best part of the Direct. Honestly, which is pretty sad.
You know what? While I disagree, I get where you're coming from. But I can't disagree because everything that you're saying is just factual. So we will continue to move on down the list with what I believe was the funniest trailer of the day, which is a little game for like 7 people called Rhythm Heaven Groove.
Great trailer.
Great trailer. Very funny.
Great trailer. Love Bit Trip. Bit Trip, favorite rhythm game. Love it to pieces. I don't know. This game does not look that fun. If they said you could play with your eyes closed, you just have to sit there and press the button to the rhythm. You could do that when you listen to music. I don't need to spend $60 on a game to listen to music to go.
Did you just invent Rhythm Heaven?
My brother, I think I did. And I'm entitled to some of those royalties, too.
I did laugh a little, though, when, like, they showed the little Zoloft blob as, like, the first thing, and I was just like, oh. And then he, like, misses the first rhythm beat, and I'm like, oh, this is what depression is like.
I can't do anything right.
But now that I'm on Zoloft, I can jump through these hoops, baby. All right, next.
Quick one.
Quick one, yeah. I'm gonna run through a couple of quick ones, and then there's like 2 or 3 big boys. We got High on Life coming to the Switch, which is a first-person shooter. It was part of that like trailer package.
Oh yeah. It's bad when they put it in one of the packages. Where they're like, by the way, some games.
It's a 2-year-old game. It's better on the Xbox or PlayStation. Star Overdrive. I don't know. Um, The Wandering Village. That one looked cool, kinda. It was the one where it's like that village on top of that big dinosaur looking thing.
I do not remember that at all.
Then there was a game that ran at like 6 frames per second. They call that Fantasy Life, the girl who steals time. And then they had this thing about a game called Monument Valley, which was like an isometric puzzle game.
That game looked horrible. This is pathetic. This is so I don't want to discredit the people making the game who are just like, I want to make a fun game for everybody. I want to be part of something bigger. But like Captain Toad came out for the Wii U. It's the same game. You're literally just the thing that gets me about it, because the game could be fun. They're literally like, here's the game. Oh, also, here's the sequel to the game, and they're just like, you're gonna get both of these games, which in my opinion, you could make one, that's fine. You could make a long game, that's okay. Take notes, Pokemon Gen 8, god damn it.
But wait, there's more.
And for those of you who've never heard of this, which is everyone, because we've never shown this existing before, the third installment of the game is going to be coming out shortly as well. So get excited for that, because you definitely care about the first 2 iterations of this thing that you now know exists. You assholes. I hate you. You are my fans, and I just want your money and nothing else. That got me so mad.
I had a feeling that would be the one that like had you pressed almost the most, just because because it felt like they treated it with more reverence than they treated like the SaGa Frontier 2 remaster, which is another game that's coming out, and that's a whole Squeenix game. And that's the end of the commentary I have for SaGa Frontier 2 Remastered that I have.
That could be good.
It could be great. Like when I was in Japan, we actually went to the Square Enix cafe, and the theme while we were there was SaGa. So that was like pretty cool.
That's dope.
All right, last little game trailers. You had Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which looks like a brand new Marvel arcade style beat 'em up, which genuinely could be fun. Like the X-Men arcade game as a kid was pretty rad, so this feels like more of that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those side-scrolling like beat 'em ups. They never are that fun and engaging to me. They feel like kind of just like button mashing, just running around. And I also can't stand Marvel, so this is just a match made in hell for me. So
I'm not a big Marvel guy either, but like,
what'd you say?
I said I'm not a big Marvel guy either.
Oh, okay.
But listen, I loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, Shredder's Revenge, that came out a couple years ago, and that's kind of like in the same vein. So, I don't know, maybe I'll play it. And then the game that everyone's clamoring for, this one's a banger, get ready, and it's for everybody, because this is everybody's golf Hot Shots.
Yo, even a guy like me can play?
Everybody, Tony.
Holy shit.
Everybody.
So is this everybody's golf like the PS4 game, but Hot Shots Golf like the PS1 or whatever it is, like the PS2 game? Is this a cross between 2 golf games? Because there are so few differently styled golf games that could exist.
This is actually just the PS4 Everybody's Golf. I don't know how they got the rights to the phrase Hot Shots, but there is not a divorced dad putting a cigarette out on your arm in this game like in Hot Shots. And that's, I mean, tell me that's not how like the vibes of Hot Shots was all about.
I remember it very vaguely, but I'll give you that one. That's a good description.
All right, the last video game that they announced is Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream.
Tomodachi, my friend. Looks like shit.
I mean, listen, it's a 3DS game or a 2DS game or whatever Tomodachi Life first came out on. It's an extension of the Miiverse. Proof that the Miiverse is still kind of alive. I know it's a stretch, but
is it alive or are they pretending it's alive?
Here's the thing: will I pay $60 for this? Not a shot.
Ooh, new shot. Game, new podcast game. Let's play. How low will Bill go? $50 for it.
Wouldn't play it.
I'll give you a steal at $45 for it. Day one, it. 45.
Day 145, won't touch it.
$40.
We're getting to a hot zone here, but I think for 40, I'm still passing on Tomodachi Life.
I'll $38. Tomodachi. Day one, $35.
35 maybe. 35 maybe.
30. I can't. I got you gotta
30
go.
I'm in. 30 I'm in.
33.
Wait, now we're going back up? No.
I didn't say 30. You said 30. Oh. I hit 35. You said maybe. 33.
Do I get some sort of DLC with that 33?
Do you know what you're talking about right now? You're talking about Nintendo. You get a slap on the back and you barely even get the receipt to return it for 33.
Sold.
$33. Tomodachi Life. There's a sucker born every minute, folks. This is the podcast you tune into. You turn into a smart person.
Speaking of smart people, two handsome smart people talking to you guys right now. But another thing that I thought was pretty cool, but I think they did a terrible job of explaining it, is the Nintendo Switch Virtual Game Cards that they announced. The idea is actually pretty cool, right? Like if you have, and like you see this more and more, like where you see multiple people on the same like family account for a Switch, but like you still can't like share games between Switches. With the virtual game cards, you can share games between accounts, and you can even loan out virtual versions of the games to give people like a 2-week trial of a game before they buy it. So if you have like I don't know how many people can be on a family plan, if it's like 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, but I mean, if you have like a friend group and y'all go in on this family plan, you guys can basically especially for like 1-player games, this is perfect, but you can like get a game and be like, oh, this game was actually pretty fun. Tony, you want to try this out? I'll flick it over to you. And then you can play the game, tell me that it's terrible, and you don't have to spend a dime.
You will recoup 0 of your $33 spent on that game.
Enjoy Tomodachi Life now!
Oh, yeah, it's good and it's bad. I think it's good in the way that's kind of nice that you can share that content.
It's a very niche like thing. Like it will impact about like 1% of people who actually play Nintendo. Like, let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of parts to it, like the family plan. Now you have to figure out how to work that, and then it's like a 2-week thing. And I think it's cool that you can loan the games out, but I don't like the underlying theme that is the move to digital games, where I'm very much like a physical collector.
Wow, look at this guy with his collection of physical games.
If I'm paying $33 for something, I gotta have it, because like I can't after purchase go, wow, this was really not worth it, and then if I want to sell it secondhandly, wherever that would be, I can't get anything for a digital game, you know.
Right.
So you could mask it as a cartridge, a digital cartridge, and it's cool that you're letting people experience games. So I guess that's one nice thing that they're doing. But at the end of the day, it's just, you know, moving closer to the digital age, and I think it's another like cut corner of, oh well, we don't have to produce as many physical games moving forward, so we could save money on that, and you know that kind of hurts the secondary market. And I'm very against the digital move, and I think that's kind of what this is. So overall, like, I want nothing to do with it, but I can't say that it's totally bad. I will definitely give it a thumbs down,
Sure,
you
of
know,
course.
without
Yeah,
question.
that goes
But
without saying.
you would think after all this time I'd have some light to share with everyone, you know, a nice, optimistic, bubbling, you know, joy with this awesome Yakuza episode. But it's, you know, if we're talking about Nintendo, you know, it's been a lot of a long time and a lot of heartbreak, and I'm just at like a sickened, like, finished point with them where I'm just like, I don't know, it
I think the
just
gaming
enough.
industry as a whole is kind of like in a weird bad spot right now. Um,
Yeah.
just I remember an era in my life where video games and video game franchises would have a new release or a new update or a new game, you know, every like, you know, 1 to 3 years for some of these franchises. Like the turnaround from Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask was 12 calendar months. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
Uh, you know, it's going like that, and like the, you know, turnaround from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom was 7 years, and we're entering an era of video games where you are getting one game per developer per generation, and it means less games, and I don't like that. You know,
Yeah.
like I know that
Yeah.
games take
That's
longer than ever to make, but also like I don't know, it's kind of, maybe I'm just like nostalgic for an era that wasn't as good as I'm remembering it to be, but like, damn son, we were getting games out the yin yang between like 1996 and 2006. Like that 10-year stretch of games had like a billion first party games. And we've only had like 6 games since 2006 that actually came out. Like, period.
check that. Check that. That is factual. Yeah, yeah. There's so many moving parts to it. I think, you know. I think there was so much more magic then, for some reason, and there was so much. There was more magic. There was more heart put into the games, and I think that more so held true for the major games of the time. I think, like, between the original Nintendo and like GameCube, there was just so much heart and innovation put into stuff. And now I think there's a little less room for innovation because, like, you don't see, there probably is the same amount of room for it. I think people just aren't coming up with really amazing ideas, or I think they're taking concepts of games that have already been made and trying to integrate like smaller, like, sub ideas in there, but it's not really like capturing anyone's hearts. Definitely not mine. Won't speak for everybody else. And then all the major stuff that had so much heart and gave us so many good memories. Um, all that stuff is just falling short now. I mean, look at the Sonic franchise, you know, like all the way through Genesis to GameCube. There's so many good games, and post that, it's just like, it's shit. You know what I mean? Like you said, we're just in a weird lull for games. Like, I do not enjoy my PS4 besides like 10 games, I want to say. And it's just, to me, there's so much more to it. So much so that I'm even like trying to go back and collect 360 games because I feel like that's a console that's not highly like sought after, but there's probably some gems on there.
Sure.
But I don't know. I just feel like for Xbox and PlayStation, it's just like I don't even know any PS5 games. To me, it's just
And
like the new
that's
Madden and like 2Ks come out. They're no good. It's the same crap. And then like the new Call of Duty comes out. How are we still doing the Call of Duty thing for like 20 years? Like to me, that's like that's not even gaming. That's just like shit. But like I don't know. Xbox seems horrendous. But we could talk about the Xbox like Steam thing, which is interesting by itself.
I
But
do
PlayStation
love
seems
that.
terrible.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
so like they
go ahead.
Sony just like I don't know if it was like a leak or an announcement or what, but you know, something happened and basically all signs are pointing to the PlayStation 6 coming out in 2 years. It is crazy that the PlayStation 6 has a higher number in the title of the console than there are games for the PlayStation 5. Like how many games exist for the PlayStation 2? 4 billion. How many games exist for the PlayStation 3? 150,000. How many games exist for the PlayStation 4? 87. For the PS5, there are 4 games. So the
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, Astro's Playroom, like Madden, Call of Duty, and that's 4. There we go. Named them all.
That's him. That's the whole library.
That's
baby.
the whole one. And like, I got pissed because I'm like, I own a PS5, and now they're already done with it, and I've like played it 3 times. I'm like, what's even the point of making consoles, dog? Like, if you're gonna put out 4 games, like that's crazy. Like, get bought out by Microsoft and just become a Game Pass machine, please. Because holy smokes, just it's like bad. Like and then it all comes back to Nintendo, right? Because Nintendo is still the only company that's like, fine, we're gonna give you, 50 first-party games per console, and you're gonna enjoy them. Mario Kart 8, we kept making content for that since the Wii U. That is a freaking 10-year-old game that we somehow have given continued support for, and people would argue there are people on this planet who do think that Mario Kart 8 is to this day the best game on the Switch. It might have some of the best graphics on the Switch, all things considered. Is that a little kitty cat?
It sure is. Oh, excuse me, a little kiss break. Mama, can I have a kiss? Can we show everyone?
Aww.
Oh, you're so sweet. Mwah. Mwah. Look, give everyone else a kiss too. Look, we're doing a pod. You don't even realize we're doing a podcast right now.
We're doing a podcast, little one.
Oh, look.
Oh, look at that.
Look, that's Unky Bill. And all the people, the 4 people that are going to watch us.
Aww.
Almost more than the PS5 library.
That's how you know we've hit it successful. We are as big as the PS5 library, baby.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're hitting Sony numbers right now.
Not many people can claim that. Just
Not
anybody
many.
who can hit 4 or better, which not a lot.
There's probably a couple million that have, but we're part of that.
Yeah, we are. You already know.
We're part of that. We're part of that. And you're part of that too. You're part of that too now. Oh, you're part of that. Yeah, gaming is dead.
That's why we love talking about video games. It's our favorite thing to do. That's why we talk about video games, because we hate them.
Facts. Everyone send me your GameCube games. That's all I want to play now. I'm good with like everything else. I think the PS4 was I bought it when it was like kind of on its way out, but still had years before the PS5 came out, and I was like, I'll enjoy this. $200. It was all right. It got me many hours. But I said after that I'll never buy another Sony console again, because there's just not enough good stuff for it.
That's fair.
So I'm happy that I didn't get a PS5. I'm happy that it sucks. I'm happy that now Steam and Xbox teamed up, and that
that's crazy.
They're all just gonna suck. Yeah, that's insane. That's like a whole episode by itself. But Two episodes?
2 episodes, I think.
2 full episodes of that? We could sum that whole thing up right now.
Because like then we could like talk about Game Pass and how I think Game Pass, while antithetical to what you love about gaming, is probably the best thing going on in gaming right now.
Yeah.
At least from like a cost effectiveness standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah, we'll save that. We'll sit on that. I'm still trying to figure out what antithetical. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, buy game. Everyone stop buying GameCube games so I could buy them, because I can't buy them anywhere because no store has them. It's insane how I've been talking about it with other friends for a couple of years, how GameCube prices are crazy, but I'm like, I don't really care though because I'm not in that market. And I'm like, you know what, dude, I want to get some of my GameCube collection back that I got rid of, that I had gotten rid of, and now trying to get it back, it's just like disgusting.
You know what? Map might be looking to offload some of his GameCube games, so maybe worth shooting him a text to see if there's anything that he's thinking of parting ways with.
I sure will. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because I know he had mentioned that earlier. Also, there's a Sonic Mega Collection. Bid ends in 1 minute and 30 seconds for the GameCube. $20 though. I don't know what on eBay.
eBay is hell. The eBay customer service in what they do, what they've done to me the past couple months, I cannot give them a bigger thumbs down. They are sick in the head. They are horrible, a horrible company that I hate that I have to use to buy stuff. Because so much of the stuff that I like, I can't get without eBay, and I can't stand it because they are literally shit. They are terrible. Terrible. I won't go into the whole story because it's just not. I mean, let's just face it, Tone. You can't tell all the stories all the time.
Come on, Tone.
But if you guys, my words have any weight, believe me when I say they are shit, and I'll gladly separately tell the story over and over again to anybody who asks me.
So Tony, we talked about this a little bit before we started the podcast, but we are now 50 minutes into the episode, and I think we're just about ready to talk about the game of the week.
Oh, I gotta go, dude. What time is it already? 1:16? Yeah, dude, I can't. I'm sorry. Yeah, we gotta just call it. Thank you for what? No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about it. I just have to send a couple texts because it's been 4 years and my family's worried about me.
They might think you're still in Japan.
Oh, I wish I was.
Oh, could you imagine? How good would life be?
Dude, Japan is so good.
It's phenomenal.
I can't take it. Take me back. It's so good. Imagine a place. Let's get to a nice hour before we start. Imagine a place where the people are nice and they have respect and shame, and they feel shame and they have respect for each other, and they care about the environment and they care about things that aren't themselves.
What?
And the food is delicious, and the sights are amazing, and everything is not easily accessible. I don't know. It's just a utopia, a wonderland of niceness, and it's just so nice. And that is the worst.
It is the
I
most
definitely started off strong.
I
started off strong. Yeah, we need a whole episode for, because my brain is just like going in too many different, trying to like really emphasize too many different parts at once. And the people's niceness and all that stuff is true, but like all the other stuff, the millions of other things that make it so good, I guess there's nothing else, actually.
That's it. There's literally nothing else that even exists in Japan.
The sights and the creativity and the things that they've invented, and the food.
I like that some of the train stations have their own little jingles. That's cute.
We have a little tchotchke, a little
You know,
capsule
we do.
that plays it. That
You know
plays
what?
it.
My favorite underrated thing, like if I had to pick one thing that's like my favorite underrated thing about Japan, is their vending machines that also dispense hot items.
That's crazy.
It's such a small thing, but it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like that extra level of like care and thought put into something. I'm trying not to touch on all like that stuff.
It's
That
like
I'm
the
trying to think of
opposite
more
of
like.
how the Pokemon Company runs things.
I guess I'm trying to convey like broad like worldly things, but there are like a million things like that are just so in terms of the way of living that we've grown accustomed to that they just like nailed it. Like the way that transportation is so efficient, um, it's just all the forms of transportation, um, pretty much just the transportation.
It's
Yeah, I
mostly
mean
just transportation that's
that's
hyper
really all you
efficient.
do.
You're just going from A to B. That's what when you're in Japan, you're just going from A to B. And
I need an
they're
episode.
good at it.
They're damn good at it.
They're damn good at it.
They go. They go. Damn, it cut everything else out after I started going downhill because I made a 2 hour YouTube video of our whole trip. I can't tell you how amazing it was enough. And right now I'm just like a fool.
Well, guess what?
Leave all that
We're
in.
at the 1 hour mark, so we're good.
Let's go. Cut me off, baby.
So, yeah, this week we talked about the Nintendo Direct, which Tony, if he could, would throw it directly into the garbage. Got him. But this week's game of the week, we're talking about Yakuza Kiwami, the remake of the original Yakuza game, developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studio and published by SaGa. That's right, Sonic the Hedgehog runs the Yakuza. You heard it here first, folks. Tony, what's Yakuza Kiwami all about?
I got a text Matt about the GameCube games. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I can't get away from it. Yakuza Kiwami, you are a guy, and you're trying so hard to leave your Yakuza, which is a Japanese mafia way of living in the past. You're just trying to get out of that and move on for good and be a good boy from now on. But you can't, because every time I'm out, they. And it's basically what you're doing for, 9 hours, unless you get caught in the side game. Then it's like 150,000 hours because you could just keep playing all the mini games that are in there. That
50
this
hours
game
is just
packed
Mahjong.
with. Why buy Mahjong for the old Sega Saturn when you can just buy this amazing remake of a game that has Mahjong in it, you knucklehead?
You silly goose. And listen, yeah, you're trying to escape the mafia because every time you do something, it's just like, ah, shit, here we go again. And that's literally how every Yakuza game, spoiler alert, every Yakuza game starts with Kiryu Kazuma, the main character, and he is just like enjoying life not being part of the mafia. And then some dumb shit happens and he's like, God damn it, I just wanted to be like a dad or something, and now I gotta beat up 75,000 dudes again. This is so dumb. And that's about like the energy he brings to it too. Like he's just like pissed that he has to like abandon his life of being a normal person, and they're like, please, oh please, Mr. Kiryu, could you please just save us again, please? Ooh. And yeah, I mean, the game starts with you literally. I still to this day I think this is crazy. A mafia guy gets murdered, and Kiryu's best friend is the one who did the murdering. And Kiryu, being the good friend he is, was like, you know what? I'll take the fall. you killed this guy because you're a knucklehead, but I'll go to jail for 10 years for you. Which, if he's not a modern day Jesus Christ, I don't know what else you could call this man. And then the game cuts to 10 years later, and you're slower and less strong than you were, and your best friend to lover finds you and starts making fun of you the whole time. What are your thoughts on Goro Majima, the other guy in the Yakuza Kiwami game?
He's dope. He's the man. He gets a thumbs up. He gets the first thumbs up of that episode.
Hey.
At first I was just like, dude, this guy's annoying wrong at that. But then, just such a good character and funny. There's just the whole game has a charm about it, and it's like not solely expressed through him, but you just, I don't know, it's such good feelings through that game, and he really just a great character to have as like your rival, I guess you would.
Yeah, I would say he's kind of like a rival character, like definitely not like a villain or even antagonist, but more just like a guy who's literally fighting you for the sole purpose of you to get stronger. And he he announces that at the beginning. He's like, I'm only fighting you because I want you to be better. Like this, like I just wiped the floor with you and I need to like be fighting my best friend again. And that's how that works. Now, this game, on balance, is like a crime drama. But you hit it right on the head. There is a ton of content in the game that does not take itself seriously. Almost to the point where it just like almost too unserious at times. But like the game, the main story, very like very like, yeah, you have the seriousness and the dramatics of like any good old-fashioned story. But this game also has little things called sub-stories. And Yakuza Kiwami has some very silly sub-stories. You know, some of them involve you, I don't know, chasing a pickpocket or getting scammed by a telemarketer. Some of them require you to literally do a claw machine for a guy because he is just so ass at claw machines that he's like, please, get it for me. I need the little blue bunny. One of them, literally, it is my favorite sub-story in the game because it cuts the tension that is happening in the moment. There's a moment in the game where you and a handful of characters have to rush out because somebody got kidnapped and they're threatening to hurt them, and you're like, all right, you and you, we're gonna go, the three of us, and we're gonna go stop the kidnappers, we're gonna save the small child, and we're gonna be heroes. But you walk by this one news reporter person with a camera, and you enter a sub-story called Bad Dads, and you and two other like middle-aged dudes are just competing. Meanwhile, time is prescient. Like, you gotta like hurry up to do this. Meanwhile, your main character and his two best friends in the game are talking to a reporter about like the best fashion trends and what makes a good dad. And it's like, why are we doing this in the middle of like a rescue sequence? This is so silly and it's so funny. Yeah, it is just like, it does a really good job of being a serious game that doesn't take itself too seriously, almost like Japan's answer to Grand Theft Auto. Tony, do you have like a favorite like moment from this game?
Ooh. No. Admittedly, it's been such a long time since I played it, but I just remember. I think the funniest thing for me was when I beat the main story of the game, which is really like, I like the charm in how many thousands of side stories there are and quests there are to complete. When
Yeah.
I beat the main story, which is my go-to of what I'm trying to accomplish when I'm playing a game, I don't care for coins and the collectathons and all the other games where I just get me through the game. I want to beat the game. When I beat it, I had 18% completion. That's insane, right? That's just how much like content is in this game. Um, but I think you nailed it when you said it's so serious. You're talking about this mobster that's going through, kidnapping and murder and money stuff, just all the nasty stuff, and red light district stuff, just like all just naughty stuff. But somehow it could just take you right out of it in like a moment's notice and be so goofy and funny. And I always think very highly of stuff that can really combine both of those worlds. I really like compare it to like Full Metal Alchemist in my head. Not like they're super similar, but I just finished that recently before Japan. And that's a show that one minute I just feel terribly watching it, where I'm just like, oh, that hurts. That sucks. And then I'm just laughing at how they present something else or how the characters interact with each other or something. It's like something that could do both so well and just kind of like contrast it very quickly throughout. It's I think it's so well done, and I always think very highly of stuff like that. So this is definitely one of those games where I was interested in the main story. I didn't care too much for the side quests, but like you said, it doesn't take itself super seriously, even though at face value it should be nothing but serious,
Right.
and it's just, I mean, look at, if you want to compare it to Mafia, that we have. Mafia is a serious game. There's a couple jokes in there and whatnot, but for the most part, it's mob stuff, and that's what this game could be. But it's so much more than that.
And if you
Much more than that.
if you were to watch just the story cutscenes, you'd have no idea. Because if you watch just the story cutscenes for Yakuza Kiwami, you are just gonna see like a just by the books crime drama play out. But you're going to miss the point in time where there is a wild man in a snakeskin jacket that is popping out from under a street cone going, Kiryu-chan, I found you! And try to stab you with a knife. And that's your best friend.
That and you pretending to be like, Kiryu, help me win the bunny. One of those I would make my ringtone. For the rest of time.
My other favorite thing in the game is the whole like slot car derby mini game that exists. There's a whole side quest that you can do where you can like build and upgrade slot cars and race them.
That's crazy.
And it's so funny. Like, it's just like a silly game. It's just like you have 4 slot cars, you're racing. It's pretty hands off. But like the sub story that plays within it is played so seriously, where like he's like, I have to win, and like the people he's competing against are children. So it is so silly because like the kids are taking it seriously, he's taking it seriously. Goro Majima shows up one time and he's like one of the hardest racers to beat, and then you smoke him and then he's like, I guess we gotta fight about it now. There's like other silly things you can do in this game. Like you can go to like a host club and talk to girls and date them, and then also date Goro Majima and then fight him as a Goro Majima dressed up as one of the girls. You can go to a strip club and see the girls dance, and you can see Goro Majima dressed in a bikini doing a pole dance, and then you fight him later.
It always ends up with fighting him.
You're like walking around, you get like shaken down to make sure that you're not carrying any like weapons or paraphernalia. Turns out it's just Goro Majima in a cop outfit wanting to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just that. Like basically the whole game is just you getting gotcha'd by Goro Majima for 18 hours. That is the story.
It's a lot.
That's the story of your progression whenever you're not doing story missions. It's just you hanging, playing out hide and seek and playing tag with your best friend through downtown Kamurocho, which is the setting for just about every Yakuza game. And Kamurocho is a pretty faithful recreation of a neighborhood in Tokyo called Kabuchiko that Tony and I actually went to one time. That's where him and I hung out, and you can actually see a lot of the landmarks in Kamurocho that exist in some fashion in the real life Tokyo, which I thought was really, really cool.
It's insane. Yeah, when I played the first time through Yakuza, I only played it the one time, but I had no idea how scarily accurate it was until I went to Japan, and I was like, almost deja vu. I'm like, where have I seen this before? How have I been here before?
That specific fence of billboards sticks out in my mind, where it's just like, oh, we walked past that 7 times while looking for food and then getting thrown out.
Yeah, they did a crazy job with making you feel like you're actually there. It's not like when you're actually there, because when you're there, it's just the most amazing feeling in the world, but it's still cool to have that recreation and come back and play more of that game, or play, other iterations of it, or just watch gameplay of it and be like, huh, I was there. Now I'm gone. Oh, here I am.
There you are.
I went again. That was weird.
That was an oopsie on my part.
Yeah. What do you thank you for explaining the game so well. Also, the combat system is great. A little boring at times, but the complexity of the ranking system in the different, forms that you could kind of take, and how you could rank up all of those too. I thought that was really well done, and it's just a game full of depth, like in every aspect, which I really appreciate, and it really just shows how much effort they put into a game like that.
They do a good job with scaling you up over time. In Yakuza Kiwami 1, something I can't really say the same about in other Yakuza games. I think like the pacing of like the leveling up and getting stronger feels pretty good in this game. You never feel like you have to like grind to get more like experience for the most part. Like you can kind of like play through and be just fine. And you do, like you said, you have like different fighting styles in this game. Like you have one where you're kind of like a little slower, but you do more damage and you can tank more hits. You have like a kind of standard mode, and then you have like a speed mode where you're not doing as much damage, but you're a little faster. And they do a good job with that fighting system, and like you can swap them up pretty quickly. I think the signature of the Yakuza series in general when it comes to the combat are the heat actions, which are kind of like special moves and like finishing moves that you can perform during fights if you get like they call it your heat meter. If you get that heat meter up high enough, Kiryu becomes like overwhelmed with like, I'm gonna get you juice. And if you press the heat button, at a certain time during combat, Kiryu will do one of a handful of different animations that are kind of like almost like wrestling finishers. And some of them are like a curb stomp, or bending some, like doing like a suplex over like a fence. If you have like certain items that you're holding or weapons that you're holding, or you have like certain environmental things around you, you can trigger like some unique heat actions. Like if you're near a bridge, you can like throw people over the railing into the water. I'm pretty sure there's like 2 or 3 heat actions where if you're holding a specific weapon, you end up like hitting the enemy like right in the ding dong, and they go like oh, and they fall over. Uh, and so like some of them are like silly. It's meant to be over the top. Kiwami does translate to extreme, so they did try to like be like over the top and extreme with it. So it kind of plays into it, and it does a good job of like adding another layer to that. Like, this is a serious game, but we're also having a lot of fun with it. It almost, like I said, it's similar to Grand Theft Auto, but I almost want to say it, if Saints Row was good, this is kind of like more of a comparison. Like, there's no gunplay. It's all like hand-to-hand combat. For the most part, like, you can get guns, but they're pretty useless. It's way more fun to just beat the snot out of people.
What was your go-to combat stance?
You know what? Towards the end of the game, I think I started favoring Beast stance, which is like the slower, tankier stance, because you could clear out like large swaths of enemies with that stance. So whenever you're just surrounded by a bunch of bozos, there's a heat action you can do where you grab onto a guy and you start swinging him around and you start hitting a whole bunch of other dudes, and you're like, all right, I can do this, clear a path, and then beat up the guy with a chainsaw that's trying to kill me.
The Beast, yellow. That's definitely the one I used the whole game, where I was like, wow, I'm getting hit, and there's like very little knockback, and I'm just like destroying everyone very quickly. Yeah, I thought that just got me through the whole game pretty efficiently.
It's pretty good. Unfortunately, in later Yakuza games, like Yakuza 2 and Yakuza 3 at least, don't have battle styles. So you're like just kind of tied to one battle style, and like with Yakuza 3, it's pretty apparent like that the battle is like fighting is much more limited than it was in Yakuza 1 or Kiwami. So ashamed to see it go, but it's such a fun part of Yakuza Kiwami. You can play Yakuza Kiwami on PS3, PS4, Xbox, and a Nintendo Switch, by the way.
Ooh.
It's available dang near everywhere, even on Windows. So, Tony, any last thoughts on Yakuza Kiwami?
No, loved it. Was trying to get through the story as fast as possible, and I felt like it was a little hard at times to do that, but I still enjoyed it. I don't know. I think it was finely paced. It wasn't too long, wasn't too short. I think I just wanted to get to the end sooner than later, because I didn't know when it was going to end until I looked up how many chapters there were, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty close to the end. So
yeah.
Sometimes I just get to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm good, and let's just wrap it up. Overall, I'd probably give the game like a 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10. Maybe 7.5 sounds pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I could see that. I think I gave Kiwami an 8.5 out of 10. I keep a game log annually, and yeah, there it is. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I did give Yakuza Kiwami 2 a 9 out of 10. So, listen, if you're feeling Kiwami 2, it's a better game than Kiwami 1.
I do want to play it very badly.
So it is Yakuza 0. I have the highest rated of the 3 that I've beaten so far, but Kiwami 2 was phenomenal. So
good to hear. I started to play Like a Dragon, but the battling system is more RPG, and my head wasn't there to play it, so it's there, and I just need to jump back in. But yeah, love Yakuza.
It's a good franchise. I also highly recommend it if you like crime dramas, if you like stock car racing, Pine Car Derby racing, if you like enemies to lovers tropes. I'm just kidding, you don't actually get to kiss Goro Majima, but boy, sometimes do you wish you could. Yeah, go play Yakuza Kiwami. It is extreme. It is great. Give the game a tip of the hat.
Ooh.
Speaking of a nice little tip of the hat, Tone, you got any tips of the hat this week?
Tips. Do I have any tips of the hat? Of my hat? Do I have any tips of the hat? There's something that would come to me after, I assume. But right now, no. All my game-related stuff has been pretty bad. Where the hell did you get that?
It's a hat.
You didn't tell me you were going to pull that out. It's a perfect hat for this kind of situation. It's not just a hat.
It's a tippable hat.
I gotta go get a hat.
Oh. Folks, I didn't mean to force Tony into a hat getting situation, but sometimes it just happens that way, and... Oh, another tippable hat. Okay. I'd like to tip I'm gonna tip my hat to you for having quite the tippable hat.
And a tip to you as well, my friend, even though it's kind of falling off a little bit. Maybe I could play some jazz music if I put it on backwards.
Ooh, oh.
Call me
right,
Watermelon Man.
Hold on, Watermelon Man. Hold on now. Are you straight from the year 1994? Because holy smokes. I do have a wag of the finger, though.
Oh. I look like Nardwar a little bit. What's your wag?
Doot-doodaloo-doot.
A little break in the voice, too, like you would. Tip of the hat to that.
Thank you, sir. Wag of the finger to scalpers. If you're a scalper of anything that I personally enjoy, be it Pokemon cards, be it shoes, be it I don't know, the last person to pick my favorite food in the lunch line, and you're the last person to get it, and they run out before me, you're considered a scalper in my book. If you're a scalper, wag of the finger. You're just a mean dude. And listen, I like to open Pokemon cards, but I can't find Pokemon cards at a reasonable price, and because of that, I have sadness in my heart.
And you're forced to play Pokemon Pocket and open bad packs in that game,
I can't wait to open out of my 10 packs 4 Wigglytuffs. It is great. I love it so much. It is my favorite thing. Tip of the hat.
Literally, the hat fell off. It was getting tipped.
Yeah, it was tipped so good
So
it fell
crazily.
off. What about you, Tone? Any wags of the finger this week?
Did too many wags, man.
And I'm not just talking about the direct.
Yeah, 100 wags for that, and then huge wags to online marketplaces for being so crappy, and the sellers on there either not shipping the item that, they just shipping stuff and forgetting parts of it. That's happened to me a couple times now over the past couple months, and shipping the wrong item and not taking accountability for it and thinking they didn't do anything wrong. Or buyers on there not knowing what they're buying and then getting mad at you. It's just been a nightmare for me lately, online stuff. So wag of the finger to all these online companies and all the people that use them that are pricks, and the moderators for not knowing how to do, what's right, and the policy for not knowing how to do what's right. Maybe they just do what they're told, so I don't know. But big wag of the finger to them anyway, because...
Big wag.
Fuck them.
You heard it here first, folks. Wow. He really
sorry.
dropped a hard F. That's
I didn't think we were gonna this episode, but then I had to do some
crazy. This is like one of those PG-13 movies where like you can say like heck, darn, and fart all day, but you get one F word, and you gotta choose the right time to use it. You're only allowed one.
Dang it, Billy! These fucking no.
That's 2. We went over budget. Oh no.
These. I don't even know what I was gonna say there in that moment.
But I got a question for you, Tone.
Yeah.
What games you been playing lately?
Oh, I've been playing this game right here.
Oh, what game is that? Super Mario RPG. It's the best game for you and me. Look at that Mallow and Gino. It's the best game, yeah, you know. It's Mario.
Mwah. I give you a kiss. I'm Mario. I'm kissing you. Mwah.
Thanks,
Mwah.
Mario, for the smooches. How far into the game are you?
I got the 6th star.
Ooh, my man just fought the Axum Rangers in Barrel Volcano.
That is insanely crazy that you just like have that in your pocket.
I have that whole game in my pocket. I've probably beaten the original 25 times.
Damn.
It's only like a 15-hour game-ish, luckily, but yeah,
I love it.
I play through it about once a year.
It's I grew up with Paper Mario. I never played Legend of the Seven Stars. And then when I finally did, I got mad at one of the mazes and I got lost, and then I just never played it again, stupidly. And I was like, that's so dumb of me. I really should. It's a great game. And now I'd forgotten about how good it was, and picking it up and playing this version that I bought in Japan, actually, which is so sick because there are a handful of games that automatically translate
Okay.
on consoles, and this is one of them. So no matter which region variant you have, if you put it into a US Switch, it'll just automatically play, as English.
Oh, that's
so I was
sick.
able to get my copy in Japan, along with Pokemon. I believe it was Shining Pearl, and I could play them on my US Switch fine, and a keepsake for me. And this game is so darn good, and I'm having a ton of fun with it.
Do you have a favorite character in the game?
Probably Yoshi. No, I'm just kidding. It's hard not to say Gino, right? Because he's like so cool. But I just love Bowser in this game and how he's just an absolute sweetheart the whole time. Like, especially towards the end.
I love that like Square Enix is responsible for the Bowser that we kind of know and love today. Like silly, goofy, like kind of like a little bit of a like himbo dungus type character, where he's like a little stupid, a little emotionally insecure, and incredibly hilarious. All started with this like random spin-off RPG game, and now it's just Bowser's personality, and it's great. So yeah, but Gino's cool.
Probably Bowser.
Gino's cool as hell too.
Gino's the man, but yeah, probably Bowser. And great game. I still like Paper Mario a little more, but if this is where that game got its inspiration from, which I could totally see, it's just like, I don't know, it's damn good.
It is damn
other
good.
Stuff I've been playing, but yeah, I'm happy to be adding, a lot of games on the list, 360 games, and trying to go back and play GameCube. Also, Burnout 2. I've been playing a lot of Burnouts, but the first one I played was Burnout 2, and that is probably one of my favorite racing games now of all time.
Oh, sick.
So good. Arcadey feel. You move the controller, the car goes where you want it to go.
Oh, nice.
I ended up buying like all the rest of the Burnouts because of it, but that's still my favorite. And I could finally say I've been playing more games as opposed to just buying games and not playing them. Appreciate that. Trying very hard to play more games and work on my list of that you and I started for this podcast, and I sent to you of the list of every game Tony has played. I add to that a lot now. So thank you. And what have you been playing, my friend?
Let's see. I've been playing a little Yakuza 3. That's kind of been like my main focus. But on stream, where I play on Twitch sometimes at Bill the Fajita, I've been playing a little Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Ooh.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Really, really loving Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is the first time I'm playing through it since I played through it initially when it first came out a couple years ago, and it's been quite the joy to revisit. Game plays just as good, if not better, than how I remember, and it's just so damn fun. I could just get lost and play that game for hours, and I will probably the next time I stream, which is in about 3 hours from now.
Oh,
yeah,
wow, that's coming up soon.
Yeah. So we better wrap this podcast up. You know what I'm saying?
What you saying?
Hey.
Yeah, I played through Arceus twice and still wanted to play it more. It's so good.
It's so good. Listen, I know you and I both play Pokemon trading card game Pocket. What's your
unfortunately?
What's your latest good pull?
Oh, it's been years.
October was so long ago.
I remember your father and I. We used to go to the boardwalk and open packs and litter them everywhere, and the kids would come and look for the scraps. And I remember there was one night I pulled a 4-star Pikachu, a 4-diamond Pikachu. And that was the best card I ever saw in my whole life leading to that point. I pulled 2 what are they, the immersion hollows?
Oh, immersive, like the immersive rares, yeah.
2 immersive rare Palkias.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that might be my favorite immersive rare so far. It's a very fun one.
It's dope. The deck is kind of ass, but it's
still a cool card.
Cool card.
It's no Druddigon, but hey.
What about you? Anything good? Well, I know what you pulled.
Yeah, I listen. There's a new set that just dropped called Sparkling Twinkle Toe, and it's all about shiny Pokemon. I forget what the set is called. What is the set called? Is it like Shining Adventure or something like that?
I think it's called Waste My Time, Pull Nothing.
Waste My Time, Pull Nothing. Shining Revelry is what it's called. They just say words now, don't they?
Horses.
And Shining Revelry is all it has a focus on shiny Pokemon. Will you ever pull a shiny Pokemon? Probably never. However, I usually have enough hourglasses saved up that by the start of each new set, I'm able to rip a 10-pack. And I ripped the 10-pack. I got 3 diamond Wigglytuffs. Absolutely goated. But then I also got, I would argue, is probably the second best chase card in the set, which is the shiny Charizard, which is a nice little black Charizard. I think the number 1 chase card for me, though, is that gold Pokeball. So good. But yeah, shiny Charizard. I only brought this segment up so I could say that I got a shiny black Charizard.
I knew it.
Wagging the finger at myself.
Nothing. Let's see. Let's show the world real quick what I got. Oh, the game's already open. How funny is that?
Convenient, even.
Let's see. I did just get something I put in my binder. Oh, I pulled the Riolu.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first page of my binder, man. Can we? Oh, look at that.
Look you can almost see it.
You can almost see that my phone is turned on. There's the brightness that we're looking for.
Look at all those immersive rares in Gold Mew. Like, holy smokes. Whoa.
I've been very lucky with the game. Definitely lucky. Look at that son of a bitch, dude. Teach me.
It's as simple as opening 10 packs and telling the game, if you don't do it for me this time, I'm going to cry.
Hasn't worked for me, but that's good that you were able to swing it.
Listen, I won't pull another good card for the rest of time, so that's how it works. It's just forever Wigglytuffs from now on. Can't wait. But Tony, thank you so much for hanging out and joining me in this episode. I really appreciate you being here and talking up this fantastic Nintendo Direct and the wonderful game of Yakuza Kiwami. Based on a thumb position, how would you rate this episode?
This episode?
Hey!
2 up, baby. 2 up.
Two thumbs up!
2 up. That you'll never see that again, by the way. Much like any cards in Pokemon Pocket that are worth anything.
Funny enough, they're all worth 0.
I appreciate being on here so much. Thank you. It's always, a pleasure to do this, and it's just a good time. Always. I mean, talking to you and having you as a friend is amazing, and being able to do this and share our opinions is it's just always fun. And every time we get together, it's just the best. So let's hopefully keep recording more soon. And Bill the Fajita. Well, let me hit the pitch. All right, Bill. That's too high. All right, Bill the Fajita. Thanks so much. Keep on rocking in the free world and doot doot doo.
Doot doot.
Ah!
Nice freeze frame. But folks, if you want to follow Tony, please go follow him on YouTube at The Poker Rapper. He just dropped a beautiful 2-hour recap video of his Japan trip. I'm sure we'll spend a whole episode talking about that eventually. You can follow the show at Games of Our Lives on YouTube. You can also listen to us on Apple and Spotify. You can also follow the show on Blue Sky and Instagram at Games of Our Pod. My name is Bill. You can follow me on YouTube, Blue Sky, and here on Twitch at Bill the Fajita. Tony, last words.
What the heck's a Blue Sky?
It's the new Twitter.
Oh, I remember your father. We used to, when we wanted to talk to someone, we would have to go to the old general store and buy a whole notebook and a couple pigeons. And we'd have to relearn an entire new phonetic system to understand how to write the characters when we'd write them, and then we would have to force this little bird to tie it around its leg and fly, and it never went where you wanted it to. It never got to where you needed it to go. We basically didn't talk to anybody for many years. I don't even know how we stayed in contact with our own family.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Thanks for watching.
So cute.